shout out goes out to our current channel members. If you were interested in picking up a channel membership for as little as $1.99 a month, head over to my channel profile and hit the join button to view all of the available perks. Thanks. The Crystal Council was such a crucial part of Crystalized overall. They were a hyped up concept from the very start, but in quite a lot of ways they just didn't really live up to the hype, I guess. In this video we are going to be talking about the Crystal Council as a whole, how the concept went wrong in some places, and why ultimately, despite all of this, I am actually still kind of a big fan of them. The Crystal Council, again, was hyped up from the very start, back when we got our first ever Crystalized poster, where they were kind of subtly teased in the background of said poster. They were hyped up for a very good reason too. It's always a special moment when old Ninjago characters make a big return and comeback, and I for one couldn't wait to see some of these older villains back in action. They also got off to an amazing start in Crystalized 2 throughout the first 12 episodes mainly. However, towards the latter half of the season, I'd say that things slightly went downhill for them. It's almost as if they didn't quite get enough individual focus, if that makes any sense. Nothing to really differentiate them between returning villains and just like a new villain group consisting of all new characters. They didn't really utilise the whole fact that they were returning to the maximum, I'd say, in the season. They were just kind of there. They were obviously old characters, but they didn't really do much. And by that, I mean they didn't really expand on each of their stories individually and add anything new to them really in the slightest, other than Harumi, which I'm going to save again for a whole new video separately talking about that situation. Take the Skull Sorcerer, for example. Obviously, he was returning from Season 13, so honestly, not that long ago. I feel as though they could have added a little bit more onto his character, and he could have had a slightly bigger thing going on in Crystalized. He basically just took a back seat in the season and didn't really do much. He was a returning villain, but at the same time, there's nothing to separate him from just a whole new character in that way. If you guys get what I mean. I hope I'm not being too confusing here, and exactly the same thing can be said to Mr. F on an even larger scale. To this, I always just ask myself, what was even the point in bringing him back? He did absolutely nothing in the season. There was no reveal that he was Echo Zane or anything like that. He was just an updated version of Mr. E, never spoke in the season, nothing like that. He was literally just there and was mentioned once by Pythor to be a newer model of Mr. E, who we of course saw in seasons 8 and 9. And that was literally it. Mr. F just kind of existed in the Crystal Council, bullied Lloyd a little bit here and there, and shot at him multiple times, and that was literally it for Mr. F. And goes for pretty much all of the other Crystal Council members. The exceptions, I guess, to an extent, would be Harumi, obviously, and Asphera towards the beginning half of the season at least. In the second half, she doesn't really do anything at all. And also the mechanic. The mechanic all the way through, I'd say, was just great. It was awesome seeing him on this huge scale type thing, and it was just great seeing such a small-time villain turn into this big-time villain with all of these other, much more powerful villains. I thought that was awesome. But yeah, that was basically it. The same goes for Pythor too. It was obviously very cool seeing him back, but again, did he really actually do much in the season? Yeah, no, definitely not. And there was also a very great opportunity for him to have this different relationship going on with Harumi, because Pythor was obviously the one that resurrected the Devourer, but Harumi didn't even care about that, so it makes that relationship between the two very, very awkward. However, despite all of this, and despite me sounding maybe a bit negative in today's video, I actually am still a fan of the Crystal Council, and that mainly just comes down to returning villains are cool, yay. That's literally it. I just really loved seeing them all back, and I thought it was really awesome to see so many returning villains on this large of a scale. But, I mean, other than that, there wasn't that much substance to all of them, or if there was any, it didn't really last too long, and they didn't really expand on it in the way I would have hoped they would have done. But again, at the end of the day, I did still really enjoy seeing their returns, so I can't complain too much. I just wanted to basically get the point across in this video that I feel as though they were kind of half-baked in a lot of areas and could have been expanded on in a much better way, in my personal opinion. But hey, these are just my thoughts. In your mind, maybe I'm completely wrong on this, but I just wanted to make this video to share, well, once again, my own thoughts and my own opinion on this subject. With this being said, though, be sure to drop your own thoughts down below on this in the comments. I would love to hear your thoughts. If you enjoyed, leave a like on it, subscribe for more, and hit that notification bell so you can be the first to watch my new content whenever I do post it. With this being said, I'll see you all soon for my next one. Goodbye.